Hello everyone, back tuning in today's second video. So we're in a weekend forecast. You can find the chat here on the homepage. Just scroll down a little bit, it's underneath link ads. There's also a written version. You get to that via buttons at the top of the page. Northerly winds on the way in the week ahead, and I'll let you check out weekend forecast to find out a little bit more about that. But it's not going to be the best end of April weather that we've ever had, I can tell you that. Check out weekend forecast. You want to know more about that. This is the CFS 6 months look ahead. So we're going to go 6 months ahead with the long range CFS beta models. It's just for fun. The charts are there, so might as well use them. But don't, whatever you do, take things that you see in this video too seriously. It's going to take us from next month, from May, and we're going to run through to October with this CFS 6 months look ahead. So we're going into the autumn with this particular update. Now, of course, the first month or two, sort of May, June, hopefully that does have a little bit of scientific merit because it's only a couple of months away. So if the model is working okay, you would assume that may have a bit of signal for those couple of months. But as we go beyond that to sort of July, August, September, October, obviously the reliability on all of that falls away markedly. So it's just a snapshot, just a bit of fun, and we'll get on with it for you. Right now, we're going to start off with 700 millibar height anomalies, and then we'll have a look at the corresponding temperature and precipitation anomalies that go with those heights. So this is the 700 millibar height anomaly from the CFS V2 for May, for next month. Remember, with these anomalies, the brighter colours will extrapolate to high pressure, and the dark colours, blues, extrapolate to low pressure. So the model indicates the area of above average heights reaching in from the Atlantic and extending to our east as well. For May, we've got below average heights down to the south. So it looks like quite a settled month. We may get a fair amount of easterly winds coming in with that, with the flow going rather like that. And this trough down to the south is interesting. It looks a bit cut off. Could give an unsettled month. Excuse me. Could give an unsettled month to Spain and Portugal. But if this was to start to be pushed northwards by the southern arm of the jet, it's not inconceivable it could bring some rain at times into particularly the southern part of the country. And you wouldn't totally be ruling out the chance of thunder with that as well. However, as it is, I think the model is essentially going for quite an anti-cyclonic month to start us off in May. This is how June's 700 millibar height anomaly is looking. Above average heights to our east and to our northeast as well. Below average heights down to the southwest. The flow is probably doing something a bit like that. So I think we're tending to draw up the air from the south or the southeast with that. That could be a really warm month in June. Actually, I wouldn't rule it out, but this area of below average heights to our southwest, that could be providing convective potential. So it could be a plumy type month, could be very warm, but it could also be going bang quite a lot and producing a fair amount of rain and possibly even thunder. This is how July is looking. 3 months out now, so remember, confidence in all of this is beginning to get lower and lower. For July, we've got an area of above average heights over much of Central and Western Europe. Below average heights a little bit around Iceland, perhaps indicating that the jet stream is to our north. Not a lot else to go on, but that could be a fairly pleasant month in July. Could have quite a lot of anticyclonic influences with that one, and possibly quite dry as well. So June could be warm and thundery. July could just be warm and very dry, perhaps. So those 2 months are looking like a fairly good start to the summer. And then we go through to August, and it all starts to get rather complicated looking in that there's not much else to go on. But what we can say is that we've got above average heights going well to our north. So possibly a little bit of northern block. It looks like we've also got the ridge around the Azores as well. And we're probably just bringing in a westerly flow there. I say not a huge amount to go on for August, but compared to what we see for June and July, and for May as well, I think we possibly go into a more unsettled type pattern. Now, what I would think is likely to be happening when we look at these charts again next month, when we do May CFS 6 months look ahead, I reckon somewhere around here we'll probably find below average heights starting to fill in this white space. Let's wait and see. It's a long way off anyway, so it's not worth being overly concerned about, but possibly a little bit more unsettled in August. But then September, look at this, we're back to above average heights again. So if this is right, we are coming up to, well, we are going to continue to have quite a dry period. This time, the ridge is to our west and northwest, which isn't terribly warm wind direction. It might be bringing in the winds from a northeasterly type direction, so it's not going to be overly warm, but it would again still be really quite dry there, I would have thought, as we go through into September. September tends to be a very dry month at the best of times. That could be a dry September, and then we get through to October, 6 months away, definitely in the realm of just for fun. And that month is showing above average heights to our north, also extending into Scandinavia. Also not a lot else to go on. You could either get an easterly and very dry month with that. We've had that for a couple of Octobers actually. 2015 and 2016 had a lot of easterly winds and were fairly dry months. You could get that kind of scenario again with that chart. However, you'd have to be watching out for low pressure to be travelling underneath with the jet stream. So it's too far away, it's too inconclusive really to say what's going on there in October, other than it probably is a little bit biased towards easterly winds. Okay, let's have a look at temperatures, and starting again with May. This is the temperature anomaly that we're seeing for May. Not a great deal to go on, really. It looks like near normal temperatures for most parts of Europe, actually. Slightly warmer than average in the far west-northwest, but only very little splodges. And I think, let's just say, fairly average temperatures for May. Remember, it's indicating a ridge to be close to much of northern Europe, so we've got a ridge going through here, it's extending through here and into here as well. There's low pressure down here and probably quite a lot of easterly winds perhaps in May. Now June looks much warmer, much stronger signal for June. So after those perhaps slight disappointing temperatures in May, June looks a really warm month. And what's happening there is that again we've got low pressure digging in down here. We've got high pressure going on, or above average heights anyway. High pressure going on up here, and the squeeze between the two could be bringing the air in from the south-southeast, with the low pressure to the southwest potentially providing some plume. So warm, potentially thundery in June. July also looking warmer than average. That one is a more straightforward month in that we've just got ridging going on across many central parts of Europe, and then the jet stream is going off up there somewhere. That's a little bit wrong. The jet stream is going off up there somewhere. So July looks fairly warm, and I would have thought quite dry. June looks warm, potentially thundering. And then we go through that rather odd month that I wasn't sure what's happening in August, but clearly temperatures are cooling down from where they are, from what we see in June and July. The temperature anomaly for August is obviously significantly cooler, albeit it's only going to average temperatures, but clearly the temperature does drop in terms of the anomaly anyway from June and July through to August. So a cooler month being signalled in August. September also coming out with average temperatures. For September there's a ridge up here and up here, which is probably going to be bringing winds down from the northeast. So yes, it's certainly not going to be a heat wave. If wind direction is from the northeast, then we would be struggling a bit with the temperatures. And October rounds it all off, that coming out with average temperatures as well. It could well be that as we're going through to August, September, October, the model is just losing the signal quite a lot in terms of these temperature anomalies. It looks like we have a period of two halves really. The first 3 months, albeit May is close to average, but the first 3 months look quite warm, and then the second 3 months looks much closer to average. But it might be that the model is simply losing the plot a little bit. And then in terms of precipitation, finally, so this is how precipitation anomalies are looking for May, and it's coming out drier than average for many northern parts of Europe. Again, we've got that ridge that's extending through these regions. Notice it's very wet down across Spain and Portugal, so there's low pressure cut off down there, and we're probably bringing dry easterly winds during the course of May. So dry but not overly warm is a signal for May. Now look at this. June is going wetter than average. This is a little bit mouth-watering, I have to say. If you want a thundery month, we've got the temperature anomalies coming out significantly warmer than average in June, but precipitation is coming out significantly wetter than average. So obviously something's going on. There's a ridge up here and up there as well. We've got the low pressure, which is around here, and we're bringing up those winds from the south or the southeast. So yes, it could be quite unsettled, could be quite a lot of rain, but that could be thundery because the temperatures are quite warm. Potentially, if you're a fan of convection, a mouth-watering prospect for June. July is just drier than average, and that's because there's a ridge almost parked over the top of the UK. So the jet stream is up there somewhere, and July is just a significantly drier than average month, really, for many northern parts of Europe again. Now, August is interesting because I thought that whilst the 700 millibar height anomaly perhaps wasn't giving much away, I did think it might be signalling something rather more unsettled in August, and that's certainly what the model is picking up on. So for August, the precipitation anomaly is wetter than average, not just for the UK, but for many western parts of Europe as well. And unlike what we have in June, which is also quite a wet month, but in June it's a warm, wet type pattern, this is just a simple, I think anyway, just a simple Atlantic driven pattern. So there's high pressure around the Azores, or pulling back into the Azores. There's low pressure up here, and we're just straightforwardly bringing in westerly winds, which are bringing bands of rain across the country. So we perhaps have the early onset of autumn in August, with a cooler, wetter, more autumnal type westerly pattern setting up. However, that doesn't last very long. By September, we're back to drier than average again. Reason being, there's a ridge up here, so it's blocking off the Atlantic with the winds coming in from that sort of direction. So not overly warm, but quite dry in September. And then October rounds it all off, 6 months away, just for fun. But it looks like, again, we've got high pressure up here, so that's the reason it's drier than average across Scandinavia. Otherwise, not a great deal to go. And as I say, for October, we could either be in an easterly wind, which, of course, is likely to be fairly dry, and it's what we've had over the past 2 Octobers, 2015, 2016 as well, or we could be more unsettled. If the high pressure is up here, then we might get the jet stream going underneath it, bringing rain bands in across the country, so it could be a more unsettled month in October. As it's 6 months away, it's not worth worrying about. So, excuse me again. So, let's concentrate on the next sort of 2 or 3 months. May is looking fairly settled, not overly warm, a lot of anticyclonic influences, but probably bringing in the winds often from a coolish east-northeasterly direction. June looks a little bit mouth-watering, if you like, convection, because we might get some thundery conditions in June with low pressure to our southwest, high pressure to our northeast, and bringing the winds up from the south, and that could, of course, in June, be quite plumy. And then in July, we just revert to a dry, warm pattern, nice month in July, before it perhaps all goes a little bit down the pan in August, and we might get some early autumnal rain bands. As ever, it's just for fun. Don't worry too much about anything that you've heard in this video. Either way, whatever outcome you want, don't worry about it. It's just a snapshot of what the model is showing. It could look very different when we do the CFS 6 months look at it again next month. Tomorrow, we're going to look at more analogues for the summer. We'll also have the Gas Over Bits Roundup And then it could go two ways tomorrow at website. We might do the 5th update for the May Day Bank Holiday weekend. However, I may have to do snow watch, can you believe? Because we're going to get these northerly winds next week. See weekend forecast and more on that. And there will be a bit of wintry potential with that. So I might have to do snow watch very late in the season for snow watch. But I might have to do snow watch. I'll keep you updated tomorrow as to what's happening. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.